Okay, it's time to start ranking JoJo endings. Now, when I say JoJo endings, I'm not talking about ending theme songs that we get at the end of every episode. I'm actually talking about story climaxes of each and every part. Now, naturally, I'm not going to include part 8 because part 8 isn't over yet, but I'm going to include the first 7 parts. Going back to theme songs for a second, I'm not even going to do a video about them because everyone knows that Roundabout is the best JoJo ending, so like, what's the point of doing a video about that? But anyway, I'm gonna rank the story climaxes of the first 7 parts, and if you're an anime only, don't worry, you can still watch the full video because once I rank part 6 and part 7, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna briefly mention those endings without any spoilers, pretty much. And as I said, don't worry, you can watch the full video if you don't read the manga. And I always say this in my Bizarrely Ranked series: if you disagree with me, it's completely okay. Feel free to leave your list in the comment section of this video, your ranking list. One more thing, this is the final thing before we get into the video. It's completely not related to the topic of this video, but I just want to say massive thank you for 10,000 subscribers. We hit it earlier this week. We also hit 200 followers on Twitter recently, and I thank you for that as well. But primarily, massive thank you for 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, because I've been doing these JoJo videos for a little over a month, and to hit 10,000 so quickly is just crazy to me. I still, my brain still can't process that, and I don't want to make this too emotional for no reason, so I'm gonna say it one more time. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are awesome. The JoJo fandom is awesome. Let's get into this ranking video. At number 7, I have Battle Tendencies ending. Now, the reason why part 2's ending is at the bottom of my list is because this is the goofiest ending out of all JoJo endings, and there's literally no competition. Furthermore, this ending features a lot of plot armor. Of course, I'm talking about Joseph's plot armor. I just can't decide whether he had more plot armor in part 2 or part 3. Let me know in the comment section of this video, guys. But it's not a bad ending, but again, it's not that serious. The fact that Joseph survives the fight against Cars and the fact that he beats him in the first place is just ridiculous. But then also the funeral scene, which was funny. I did enjoy it, but as I said, it's the goofiest ending out of all JoJo endings, and I personally prefer other more serious endings. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm not trying to bash part 2 or anything like that, but literally the gap between the 7th and the 6th place on my list is huge. Okay, it's huge, but I still think it's a good ending. I enjoyed it, as I said, but I prefer other endings over this one. This just looks so unfair because I love this ending, but at the 6th spot I have the ending of part 5. Now, I genuinely don't understand how this ending is only 6, but the difference between my 6th favorite and my 3rd favorite, literally like those couple of spots, the differences are so small. They're very minor, but I decided after thinking about it for a while that my 6th favorite ending is part 5's ending. Now, this was a great ending. It also features one of the coolest shots in all of JoJo, if not the coolest shot, and I think it's supposed to pay homage to the Godfather trilogy, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think it's just, I could be wrong, but it's a great ending. The theme of part 5, one of the main themes of part 5, which was fate/destiny, was circled really nicely with the rock stand or whatever. I forgot the name of the user, but listen, it's a great ending, but it's just personal preference. I prefer a couple of endings over this one, as simple as that. At number 5, I have the ending of Diamond is Unbreakable, aka JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. Now, this ending is brilliant because once Kira is defeated, you feel this sense of relief because Morio can finally be Morio again, this peaceful town with no serial killers. And the ending as a whole is very satisfying because you get all these beautiful character closures after the final fight, and it feels like you got everything you had to get. It doesn't feel like anything is missing from this ending, and overall it's very wholesome. I don't know why, maybe it's because of some of these final character interactions that I personally enjoyed very much. especially the one between Josuke and Joseph. I mean, Josuke and Joseph's relationship was one of my favorite things about part 4. I still think that Joseph should have died like 2 times before part 4, but I mean, I'm not gonna deny the fact that I loved his relationship with Josuke. But anyway, going back to this ending, as I said, you get all these character closures. It's very satisfying, and I already said this, I think, but it's very wholesome. And I could literally watch this ending all day, every day, and I wouldn't get enough of it. I think I'm starting to fanboy, so let's move on to the next spot. At number 4, I have the ending of part 7. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything about it, so I'm just going to say something that hopefully the manga readers will understand. I'm going to be very indirect about this. A certain thing that happens after the D4C fight, how do I put this into words? A certain fan service moment that happens after the D4C fight is cool and all that, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, and it's the main reason why this ending isn't higher than number 4. So yeah, and if you read the manga and if you still don't understand what I meant, just ask me in the comment section and I'll explain. Coincidentally, at number 3, I have the ending of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. The reason why this ending is so high is because the final fight against Dio is one of the best fights I've ever seen in all of anime that I've watched so far, and I've watched quite a few anime series. I'm not like in the hundreds like many YouTubers, but like I've seen quite a few. And anyway, all the lives that were lost throughout this fight will, I mean, they're not lost. As a matter of fact, they live in our hearts, but they will always be remembered, and they had a massive impact, a massive emotional impact on me. The ending would have been so much better if Joseph died. Just like, for a second, just imagine if he actually died and Jotaro started crying, like we would get like, you know, just imagine if we gotten like an emotional moment from Jotaro. Like, he still felt pain, but obviously he didn't really express it. That's the whole point of Jotaro. He doesn't really express his emotions. But in my opinion, having a moment like that will be much better for 2 reasons. Number 1, Jotaro crying, I mean, that would break everyone. Number 2, you get rid of Joseph's bullshit plot armor, right? Because he really should have died. I mean, he should have died in part 2. And I mean, if you're gonna excuse that, then like whatever. But here, nah, man, he should have died. Let's be honest. Yeah, still a great ending. But I think it's time to start talking about the first 2 spots. Yeah, let's go. If Dio Brando had actually died, part 1 would have been at the first spot, but since he actually survived the boat explosion, I have to put part 1 at the second spot, and at number 1 I have Stone Ocean. Now, I'm not even going to talk about Stone Ocean because I don't want to spoil it, and it's one of the most easily spoilable endings like in the history of like anime / manga endings. So like I can't even talk about it like indirectly. There's just no way, so I'm not even going to talk about it. But the reason why I brought up Dio, I personally feel as though the fact that Dio survived makes this ending less poetic than it was. It's still a fantastic ending. It's arguably one of the most emotional endings out there. It's full of symbolism. It's tragic, it's sad, and it just made me feel a certain type of way that no other JoJo ending made me feel. Especially with little moments such as Jonathan telling Erina to save the baby, which later we found out was Lisa, and Jonathan referencing his mother, how she sacrificed her life to save Jonathan. And I mean, this ending, oh my god, I think I need to stop the video because I don't want to start crying.